mean, but there are some places that you work to, you write code as technical writers. I'm sure this will not freak us out. This will not make us be afraid. Who is afraid when I say that technical writers write code?
Me.
Hello, guys. Bless you, afraid?
Yes, I don't think I enjoy coding. I don't
You
like
don't
it.
think? Okay. So the thing is, who else again? Who else again is afraid? So the thing is, it depends on where you're working. Like my company, I write code, the technical writer. It's so funny, but it depends on where you're working. Actually, there's some place that you work, you don't write code. Some place that you work, you also focus on content. Eru, you're asking why I write code. Okay, I think I want to talk about that, but like I'm trying not to go too deep into this. So the code that we write on the doc team, they're not product-based code. Now, but for us, we see documentation as a product. I don't know if that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, ask and I'll explain what that means. Seeing product. I mean, seeing document, like your documentation as a product. I will explain what that means. It doesn't make sense to anybody. So the code that we write, it depends on the workflow that we choose for our team. So we are creating a documentation site that we want to display for each of the endpoints. Say whether it's if it's a for each of the endpoint and the HTTP method, if it's a get, a post, a put. I'm sure you guys know this method, HTTP method that I'm talking about. So we're trying to create a documentation that if you see an endpoint and then that endpoint is a post request, you should see that post request in a box colored text with post. So we created those method as a component. So we wrote code for each of those components. So this is why I said we write code. So we are seeing those methods as components. So we have to write code to display them as components. So I mean, but it's not a product kind of code that you push to staging and finally to production and then live. It's not that kind of code. Some places you write, some places you might not write. But I know there are tools that people might use. Like I think for README. So there are tools that technical writers use that we might not need to write code for that purpose. There are tools that kind of thing might come fully formed. So you don't need to write code, just plug and play, and then you get those things like. So some places you write code, some places you don't write code. So if you're afraid of writing code, you don't have to be afraid. You might be lucky to get a job in a place where you don't have to write code. Blessing, are you cool?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Yes, you don't have to be afraid. But if it's something you want to learn, I mean, you can learn too. Because in the end, if you get there's some company that you'll be employed as technical writer, and then you want to do live presentation to your potential audience. So you want to implement how the APIs that you're using work, or your company APIs, how they work. So you want to show them with code snippet, all of that. Yeah, that's it. It depends on where you're working and what they want from you as technical writer. So far, so good. Do I have any question, any comments, any feedback, anything? So far, so good.
All right, sir. I have a question.
Yeah,
I
please.
think I heard you mention about coding. Please, sir, as technical writing, is it is coding very, very important for us like that?
Okay. If coding is very, very important. Okay, coding might not be very, very so when you say very, very, I'm assuming that must it be a part of your daily job? No, it doesn't necessarily be. It's not very, very important. But in most cases, now again, it depends on where you're working. You will be looking at APIs. You'll be looking at code base, trying to understand. Okay, I did an interview one time with a company. They gave me access to a certain code base. Read this code base. then explain a particular thing for us from the code base and all of that. So if I don't understand code, that would be a problem. Do you understand? But like I said before, then again too, I've did interviews too with other companies too. That the task they gave me just write, no code, just write, just about writing. So like I mentioned, it depends on where you're working. It depends on where you are working. So that's why it's important that when you're applying for a job, you look at the job description. So there are some that will say that they need you to have experience in so and so language. But really, you're not writing production-based code. So when I say production, I mean you're not writing code that users will start writing. You might just write code to automate your process as a technical writer. You might just write code to make your workflow better or look nice. Do you understand? But are you writing code so that users will start using your code that you write? No. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other question? Any other question? Any other question? Yeah, but just to add, it makes sense that if you want to become a technical writer, at least have an understand some coding pattern, understand some coding jargon, like understand object. So object not in OOP this time. So JavaScript object, JSON object. So you know object has key value pairs, all of those things. You need to at least a basic understanding of coding. Do you understand? Say in JavaScript or Python, any language of your choice, but just maybe JavaScript particularly, just understand. Like basically, you can see when it declare variable expression, you can explain like, this is a variable expression and all of that. Does that make sense? Just understand of coding. I mean, you're not writing production-based code, but just understand. So when you see, you can at least make sense of it. Because most time, you're not only writing for non-technical audience, you're writing for people who are coders, who are developers. That's if you're working on documentation, you're basically playing with APIs. You're describing APIs and all of that. And APIs that they are coded, like not code, then carry writer. I mean, if that makes sense eventually. So you might not be writing code, but you understand code. That's that. Any other question? Thank you, Ade. Any question? Any comments? Any feedback? I want to go to the next slide. Any question? Any comment? So guys, feel free. Just feel free. You get. So essential skills. Essential skills for technical writers. Essential skills. Can you guys still see my screen? Can you guys still see my screen?
Can. Yes, we can.
Yeah, cool. So without looking at the screen, what are the essential skills that you think technical writers should and must have without looking at the screen?
All right,
Guys,
sir.
feel free. Yeah. Who is speaking? Sorry.
Okay. Tosin.
Oh, Tosin. Okay, cool. Cool guy.
All right. So technical, right? Just like it implies that you need to understand your audience before you write to them. So I think one of the essential skills a technical writing should have is a good research skill.
A good what? Research skill. Okay. Okay, cool.
Yes, a good research skill.
Oh, cool. Makes sense. Makes sense. Who again want to say something? Essential skills for technical writers. What are the essential skills? Without looking at the screen, essential skills for technical writers. Tosin has said something. Who again want to? Blessing want to say a thing. You can type as well too. I will just read them out. If you don't want to use the mic, you can type. I will read them out to the other persons. essential skills for technical writers. Who want to say a thing? Okay, Oluwatumisi said good interpersonal relationship. Okay, that makes sense. Oluwatumisi, do you want to explain that? Or you don't want to use the mic? Your mic shy or what? Okay, Ade said understanding the audience and the company. Again, number 2, he said communication and writing skills, collaboration and teamwork. Okay. Okay. Any other person? Any other person? So yeah, some of the essential skills every technical writer need. Some of the essential skills. Writing, of course, the job title said technical writer. So 1, must be good at writing. Oh yeah, that's good. Damilola, a good command of the English language. That's good. That's if your audience is majorly English people. Yeah, that's correct. So writing, you must be very good at writing. You want to learn how to write. You want to learn how to communicate. Communicate your ideas clearly, with clarity and precision. Like you want to learn how to communicate that. During the last slide, we talked about coding and all of that. You are going to be technical because obviously the job title says technical writer. And then we established that technical writers don't just write for non-technical audience. They write for both technical and non-technical. So for you to write for technical, you must be technical yourself. Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you must be technical yourself to be able to explain technical things or technical concepts to non-technical or technical people. You must be technical. You must know how to communicate. You must know how to write. And then another skill, empathy. Because you're writing not to massage your ego, but you're writing to help a people do a thing. It could be you're writing to help them use a particular API. You're writing to help them understand a particular concept. You must write with empathy. Does that make sense? Because you want to make sure that the user eventually gain value from reading what you've written. So you must write with empathy. Then Eru said you must understand the product. Your writing must be concise, precise, and simplified. That's cool. Essential. Any question, any comment, any feedback? Any comment, any feedback, any question? Any question, guys? Any question, guys? I can go to the next slide, right? Let's fly. We're flying. See you on the next slide. So the thing is, I'm dropping one. I'm dropping a chat. I'm dropping a text in the chat for a resource that will benefit some of you on this call that want to just move away from writing content and getting into API documentation. Other people who want to get into API documentation. Guys, can you respond? Other people who want to go into API documentation on this call. Are there people who are interested in API documentation on this call?
Yes.
So I'm dropping a link for you, so you learn about API documentation. So Damilola said he feel like technical writer also need to be creative. Yes, creativity. Yeah, you must be creative. You must be creative. So these are some online resources that, as a body technical writer, you want to take advantage of them. You want to go look out for Write the Docs. They have an active community. They have a community on Slack. I'm on the Slack channel too. You want to check that out. You want to go to Technical Writing World. You can Google all of these things. So you want to go to Udemy or Coursera and look for technical writing courses. And then just use Google. Google is your friend, actually. You can, whatever thing that comes to your mind that you think about technical writing, just go to Google. You see a ton of resources. And then if Google is not enough, if you want, if you want to attach a name to anything you're searching, go to LinkedIn. Go to LinkedIn. In the search bar, type in technical writing, type in writing, type in API documentation. You will see a ton of people have written stuff about that, and then you will learn. That's how you learn. Just go wide, go wide, go wide. So I'm dropping a link on the chat. So this like I'm dropping that's a course. I did rather be writing.com. You can take that out. Tom Johnson did a course on API documentation. It's free. So you can check it out. I've dropped the link there. It's free. So there are a lot of resources. You can go to, I'm coming. I'm dropping another diastasis. So I once contributed to this when I'm dropping. It's a framework, but for technical writers. Diastasis. I'm coming. From no. Yes, that's his framework. You can Google that too. You can Google that on Google. You can check that out, the accesses. I mean, it really talked about technical writing and API documentation and documentation. So you learn a lot from the accesses. So these are some of the online tools. I've sent you guys two on the chat, and then you see this one on the screen. Any question, any comment, any feedback? Guys, feel free. If your mic shy, nobody's seeing you, you're not showing yourself on the video. You can use the mic at any point. Don't be shy. Are you guys learning anything at all? Have you guys learned anything at all? Please, guys, I need feedback. I need to hear from you guys. Although to me, you're saying something, I can't hear you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I learned something.
Oh, okay. Cool. James, Oluwatosin, Blessing. Oh, Ade, I've seen, yeah, you're learning. Yeah, makes sense. You're learning, okay. Ade, thank you so much. James, Oluwatosin, you guys learning something? Mike here.
Yes, we have.
FZBar. Damilola. Are you guys learning something?
Yes, sir. We're learning.
Okay, cool. So this part of this slide is more like an advice. It's more like an advice. It's more like, I mean, a career advice. So now that you know about technical writing, even though this is just an introduction to what technical writing is about, but at least we have an idea of how we're looking. When we started, the people who explain what they know about technical writing, I think that was James and Tosin. They talked about how the technical writers try to write or explain concepts that will make sense to non-technical audience, right? That was very correct. But I also added that beyond writing for non-technical audience, they also write for technical audience. So you're writing for both technical and non-technical audience. At least you guys have learned that. And then we talked about some of the essential skills they need. And then we equally talked about why is technical writing necessary. We talked about that. And of a truth, let me tell you guys something. The more API first, can you guys hear me? Hello
Yes,
guys,
we
can you
can.
hear me? Okay, yes. The more API first startup we keep having. So when I say API first means that startup whose major offering is APIs. Like they're offering APIs, like Paystack, like Flutterwave, payment. They're offering payment APIs. There are some that offers beyond payment. They offer authentication APIs. That's like user management, identity, infrastructure, all of that. The more API first startup that we have, the more SaaS in this case means software as a service. So this company that are offering software as a service, the more of those kind of startups that we have, the more they will need technical writers. Do you understand? The more API-based companies that we have, the more SaaS companies that we have, the more the need for technical writers. So guys, if you're learning technical writing or if you want to build a career in that space, you must take it so serious. Do you understand? You must learn as much as you want to learn. You must learn as much as you want to learn. Hmm? You must learn as much as you want to learn to prepare yourself for opportunities, because there are tons of opportunities for technical writers. Because people are building API startups, people are building SaaS products on a regular. So they need technical writers. You might not have gotten a job now, but be rest assured that if you keep honing your skill and then eventually get better, you're going to get something. One way to get started as a technical writer, you want to start looking at contributing to open source. In fact, one of the things I sent you guys there, that passes framework is an open source framework for technical writers. You want to look at it and see if there's anything you can contribute to it. There are a lot of products you might want. Just Google, go to Google, open source products that you want to contribute to, and then you see there are some that are looking for technical writers. You can go and search for Google season of docs. It's basically for doc engineering for technical writers. You don't have to write code. It's documentation purely. It's open source and it is paid. You want to look at that too and see if you can apply. You want to look out for Attrishi. There's a program called Attrishi. The technical writers too. Open source. It is paid also. So there's a lot of opportunities for you. You can start writing on Ashnode, on dev.to. Should I write those ones down in the chat? Place that you can start writing to build
Yes,
portfolio
please.
yourself.
Yes, yes.
Okay, you can go to dev.tu. You can go to ashnode.com, I think so. Yes. So these two places you can create an account, start writing your business portfolio. You want to apply for a job, they want to see the things you've written in the past. You copy your link, your portfolio link, you send to them. Do you understand? I mentioned attrition. I mentioned attrition. I mentioned Google season of doc. You might want to check all of these things out. Oh, I'm sending a direct message right now instead of. Sorry, guys. Did you guys see what I was sending since? Sorry. Sending a direct chat to Adewale. I'm coming, guys. Let me copy and send to you guys. I send it to the chat. Dev.tu, ashno.com, and Attrition. Can you guys see the chat?
Yes, sir, we can.
Yes. So you might want to look at these places. This is how you build portfolio for yourself as a technical writer. Start contributing to open source project. I mentioned Google Season of Doc is if they pay technical writers, if you eventually accept into the program, you're paid. What you do basically, you're not writing, contributing to documentation of some projects that are accepted into the Season of Doc. Then at Richie, the same thing too. You work on documentation for any project that you're accepted into, and they're paid. But for Ashnode and Dev.to, they're free. I mean, it's just you clicking an account and start writing about the things that you know. It could be that you learned something new, maybe a concept in programming. You want to write about. Maybe you learned something new about APIs, about SaaS, about AI. AI is trendy stuff now. About blockchain. Just want to write. That's how you become a technical writer. And then with that, if you're applying for a job, you can just copy your portfolio link from dev.to or Ashnode and apply. You're not doing more. And then there are other tools too. I mean, this is just introduction. So maybe in subsequent classes, if have opportunity, I might want to mention things that you might want to use and build your portfolio also. Then, I mean, like I said, this is just about career advice. Attend conferences, meet new people. Like you guys now have met me. Try to reach out to me on LinkedIn. We'll talk. You can try to reach out to me on Twitter. We'll talk and all of that. And then look out for people too on LinkedIn that are technical writers. Connect with them. I know that in the previous slide, in the slide before, I think 2 to 3 slides, we talked about Write the Docs. I mentioned that Write the Docs is a community. They have a Slack channel. Yes. So join communities, go to community events, network with people who are in the same industry with you. Engage on LinkedIn. Look at people who are technical writers on LinkedIn. Send them connect. Learn from people on LinkedIn. Share your own knowledge too. Don't just learn from people. Share your own knowledge too on LinkedIn. Do you understand? Build an audience for yourself too on LinkedIn. Does that make sense? So I think we're almost, yes, this is the end of the slide, meaning we have come to the end of the class.
Yes, thank you very much. Back-end class is about to start with the same link. I think we'll
All right.
continue next week. But it was very insightful. At least we have enough to go and ruminate to give us your last session next week.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you guys for coming to my TED Talk. See you guys later.
Thank you, sir. So I think the group is still open in case you have any question for our tutor. I mean, at least from what he has shared today, you can see he's a very experienced person, right? If you have any question, you can just drop it there. If he's able to respond, he will. Right. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. So, are you